An anticipated governor's debate is canceled over calls of bias by low-polling Democrats, while transit in the United States hangs on TSA investigations and DHS funding disputes. And a shift, Red Hot Chili Peppers flee, making a new jazz standard out of a contemporary classic from Frank Ocean, a little something to lighten the mood at the end of the show. My name's Amrit Singh, it's your afternoon, and it begins right now. Well, we'll begin by talking about the governor's debate that was to be but shall not. USC canceled tonight's gubernatorial debate. The university facing criticism for how it chose debate participants, which included 6 candidates, the top 5 polling, and a low-polling Democrat with big fundraising. That methodology did not include the low-polling Democrats who are also candidates of color, and that caused allegations of bias and calls for either the inclusion of those low-polling Democrats or a boycott of the debate. All of this has caused USC and debate co-sponsor ABC7 to cancel the debate entirely. And now, reportedly, Tom Steyer says he's paying to bring together a town hall for all candidates. Tonight, we'll see what happens there. But take a look here. These are the 6 candidates who had been selected for the debate. As I mentioned, the top 5 polling, which as we know by now includes the top 2 polling Republicans, Sheriff Chad Bianco of Riverside, Steve Hilton, former Fox News host and David Cameron associate. And then you have the top 3 polling Democrats, Tom Steyer, Katie Porter, also Eric Swalwell, and you also saw Matt Mahan. He was polling in the single digits, but he had big fundraising, and USC said that was enough to get him on that stage. Here you're looking at the 4 Democrats who were excluded were also similarly low polling by Matt Mahan, and these 4 candidates were candidates of color, and they complained on those grounds. Javier Becerra, Antonio Villaraigosa, former LA mayor, Tony Thurmond, state superintendent of public instruction, and Betty Yee, former state treasurer. Lots to talk about here, of course. And last night, Becerra celebrated the cancellation of this debate by USC, saying, in part, quote, "We fought, we won. We stood up against an unfair candidate debate that prematurely chose winners and losers. USC made the right decision. Hopefully next time it's done right." Steve Hilton, Republican, well, he's not celebrating this decision. In fact, he is alleging some improper action on the part of USC, saying on X in part, quote, "Californians deserved a debate. Democrats killed it. USC let them. They receive $1.35 billion a year in federal funding, and this is how they handle a major public event in an election." He goes on to say, "I'm asking U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon to suspend every dollar until there's accountability." Now, on X, all the candidates have been saying much, including Matt Mahan, who also criticized the decision to cancel the debate. Meanwhile, the data and polling community is rallying to the defense of USC professor Christian Gross and calling on USC to defend him from allegations of bias. Gross, who's a frequent presence here on Inside the Issues and on Spectrum News 1, he had devised the formula based on polling and fundraising and says Gross did so without knowing who would benefit ultimately. And USC did release a statement saying, in part, quote, "USC vigorously defends the independence, objectivity, and integrity of USC professor Christian Gross, whose data-driven candidate viability formula is based on extensive research and enjoys broad academic support." At the same time, we recognize that concerns about the selection criteria for tomorrow's gubernatorial debate have created a significant distraction from the issues that matter to voters. The mayor's race is another conversation, but we will be talking about that governor's race going on through the day and into tonight, especially when it comes to potentially a town hall and what other responses we see coming up. Now, we are talking about the LA mayor's race. They had a debate last night. Mayor Bass was not there. Spencer Pratt were not there, 2 of the highest polling candidates. But 3 candidates were, including City Councilmember Nithya Raman and Ray Huang, the Reverend DSA affiliated, and also Adam Miller, a tech CEO. It was a conversation about transportation, homelessness, and housing, and El Barian was there and brings us this report.
Nonprofit executive and entrepreneur Adam Miller. Next up, Los Angeles City Council member and urban planner Nithya Raman, and pastor and community organizer Ray Huang.
3 candidates in LA's hotly watched mayor's race took the stage Monday night for the first debate in the 2026 election.
If you all are ready, we'll jump right into it.
In the audience, hundreds of voters waiting to hear from the candidates, including UCLA senior Brett Berndt, who says he's narrowed down his choices, but is still undecided.
So I think where I'm at right now is just trying to see between those 2 candidates kind of who I align most with.
The debate was hosted by nonprofit groups Streets for All and Housing Action Coalition. It focused heavily on housing, homelessness, and transit policies, as well as how the city invests in infrastructure. Moderators Michael Schneider and Jesse Zwick pressed candidates on how they tackle LA's most urgent challenges and where they stand on current policies like Measure ULA, SB 79, Insight Safe, and Vision Zero. But notably absent from the stage was LA Mayor Karen Bass. In a statement, her team said, quote, "While the mayor can't participate in every debate invitation, she's eager to discuss her record of changing LA and her vision for the future of Los Angeles." Reality TV personality Spencer Pratt also did not attend and did not respond to requests for comment. That left three candidates on stage: Councilmember Nithya Raman, Democratic Socialist and pastor Ray Huang, and tech entrepreneur Adam Miller. All three explaining what makes them stand out. For Huang, it's disruption and reform.
I don't want to rehash the same bad system over and over again.
For Miller, execution and follow-through.
What we need is not intention. What we need is impact. I don't just talk about these things. I have done these things.
And for Raman, experience in policymaking.
But to have real progress right now, you need more than just values, you need more than just ideas, you need to be able to understand how City Hall works.
The debate comes as new polling from the Berkeley IGS and LA Times shows Mayor Bass leading the race with 25%, followed by Raman at 17%, Pratt at 14%, Huang at 8%, and Miller at 6%. More than a quarter of voters, 26%, are still undecided. And while Bass leads, the same poll shows a challenge. 56% of voters view her unfavorably, compared to just 31%. The other candidates, less well-known, have higher numbers of voters who say they have no opinion. Back at the debate, voters like this UCLA senior say they're still weighing their options, but hoping for a progressive standout like New York's Zoran Mamdani.
I love what Zoran, his campaign was bringing and promising. I love what he's doing, and so it would be awesome to have something like that here in LA.
With months to go until Election Day and a large share of voters still undecided, the race that will shape Los Angeles' future remains wide open.
Much to discuss in that race, and we will do so in the coming weeks. More than 100 LA County shelter animals are heading to Chicago. When we come back, we'll talk about the county's plans for recently rescued cats and dogs. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're watching Your Afternoon, and it's a Tuesday.